Okay, good morning. In the last session, we discussed the fertilization process and what are the post-fertilization process. That means the formation of zygote and the embryos, endosperm and embryogenesis, how embryos are developed in different dicots and monocots. And now, the results of fertilization in flowering plants is the seeds and fruits. So, the fertilization results are different parts of the flower are develops into the different products. So, here we will briefly discuss the products like seed and fruits. So, these are the important. So, that means ovules are converted into seeds, and we know that, and these seeds germinate to produce the younger plants. And here the seeds which are produced from the ovules. So these are the, and we know that in flowering plants the double fertilization takes place. So as a result of double fertilization, the two products are produced. So what are the two products? One is seeds. So that means embryo. And another one is endosperm. So here we will discuss with the seeds. And these seeds are the, that means produced from ovules. Produced from ovules. And what are the contents of seeds? So what exactly the seed consists? Seed consists mainly three parts. That is seed coat, then embryo, actually from which the plant is produced. So the offspring is produced. And cotyledons. These three are the main contents of the seed. So that means seed consists of seed coat, embryo and cotyledons. So here the seed coat is developed from the integuments. So what are the integuments? And when we discussed with the structure of ovule, the ovule is covered by, that means embryo sac, nucellus. So this is the embryo sac and the nucellus. So nucellus is covered by the integuments. So there are two integuments, outer integument and inner integument. From these two integuments, the seed coats are developed. And so here the seed coats are two layers. So that means outer seed coat and inner seed coat. So here there are two integuments, outer integument and inner integument. From this outer integument, outer seed coat is formed. So outer seed coat here, it is called testa. And from the inner integument, so the inner seed coat is formed. Inner seed coat. And that inner seed coat is known as tegmen. So there are two seed coats which are developed from the two integuments. From the outer integument, outer seed coat is formed, which is known as testa. And from the inner integument, the inner seed coat is formed, which is known as tegmen. So this is important to know that outer seed coat is known as testa, inner seed coat is known as tegmen. So these two layers of the seed coats, they protect the sensible and delicate embryo. And embryo which is developed from the zygote. And this embryo consists of, and we know that plumule and radicle. So plumule is develops into the shoot system and radicle is develops into the root system. So it consists, the embryo consists two parts. One is plumule and radicle. So plumule is develops into the shoot system, and that means stem, leaves, buds or flowers and all. So then radicle. From the radicle, the root system is developed. And then cotyledons. In the angiosperms, the number of cotyledons is different in different plants. According to this number of the cotyledons, the plants, so that means the angiosperms are divided into two classes. What are that? One is dicots and monocots. So according to this, the seeds also classified into two: dicot seeds, monocot seeds. Dicot seeds consists of two cotyledons. So these are consists of two cotyledons. And monocot seeds, it contains only single cotyledon. Only one cotyledon is present in the seeds of monocots. And again, on the basis of the presence or absence of endosperm. So endosperm is a result of double fertilization. If the endosperm is remain in the seed, then those seeds are called albuminous. See, this classification is on the basis of the presence or absence of endosperm. These are called albuminous seeds, or due to the presence of endosperm, these are also known as endospermic seeds. So here mainly this endosperm function is to provide nourishment to the developing embryo. So the endosperm is full of nutrients, so like proteins and carbohydrates. So these are present, reserved food material is present in the cotyledons. So that is mainly of the endosperm. So this endosperm is a result of double fertilization. Double fertilization. This should be important to know, to remember. So as a result of double fertilization, here the two products are developed. One is embryo, that is from zygote, and another one is endosperm. This embryo is developed into the younger plant or offspring, and endosperm provide nourishment to the developing embryo. So if the embryo consumes endosperm, even after consumption, if the endosperm is present in the cotyledons, such a type of seeds are called albuminous or endospermic plants or seeds. And second type, non-albuminous or X-albuminous or non-endospermic seeds or non-endospermic seeds. Means here the endosperm is not present. The complete endosperm is consumed by the embryo for its development. Such a type of seeds are called non-albuminous. That means in the seeds there is no endosperm. And X-albuminous or non-endospermic seeds. So let us see some couple of examples for this. Example for albuminous or endospermic seeds is castor seeds. Castor seeds. So in which the endosperm is even present after the consumption of embryo. So if the embryo consumes all endosperm, still it contains some amount of endosperm. So that is called albuminous or endospermic seeds. Example, castor seeds. For non-albuminous or non-endospermic seeds, the example is pea and groundnuts. Pea and groundnuts. These are the examples for non-albuminous or ex-albuminous or non-endospermic seeds. And even monocots also, they are classified again into two. Again same, on the basis of the presence or absence of the endosperm. So here also same, albuminous seeds and non-albuminous seeds. Albuminous seeds and non-albuminous or endospermic seeds or non-endospermic seeds. So here albuminous seeds which contains endosperm. Some amount of endosperm is present in the seeds of the albuminous. So here example for this is wheat, that means reserved endosperm is present in these seeds. Example, wheat, rice, maize. So these are some couple of examples for the albuminous or endospermic seeds. And here non-albuminous, that means reserved endosperm is not present in these seeds. So all amount of the endosperm is consumed by the developing embryo. And such seeds germination period is fast. So that means the viability of seeds is very low, because due to the absence of reserved endosperm, the further development of embryo for a longer period is not possible. So example for this is orchids. So we can define the viability of the seeds on the basis of the presence or absence of the endosperm. If the endosperm quantity is more in that seeds, there can be longer viability. Or if there is less amount of the reserved endosperm, then their germination period is less. So these are the different types of seeds on the basis of, first classification is on the basis of number of cotyledons. So if there are 2 cotyledons, those are called dicot seeds. If there are only single cotyledon, these are known as monocots. And on the presence and absence of the endosperm, again these dicot seeds are 2 types and monocot seeds are also 2 types. So then some important aspects regarding to the seeds. One is seed viability. Seed viability. So what is the seed viability? How much time period of these seeds can be germinate? So their germination capacity is lasting for how many days or how many months or how many years. It is different from different seeds. So some seeds they may germinate within few and they can be stored, or their germinating capacities last for some years also. So here the seed viability is the capacity of the period of capacity of germination. When the seeds are formed, they do not immediately germinate. Okay, they can be when the favorable conditions are available, when they are contact with the soil and humidity, water, everything, every aspect is required for the germination of seed. There must be some availability of water, some proper soil and temperature. So these all aspects are responsible for the germination of seed. If those requirements are not available or those conditions are not available, then the germination is not occur in the seeds. But when the germination occurs, when these all favorable conditions available in the nature, then seed can be germinated. So here these will be different in different types of seeds. So for example, if we will take the lotus seeds, which are having the more germinating period, so that means the more seed viability, even 1000 years also, even after 1000 years of the seed, if the, for example, if the seed produced and even after 1000 years of from this day, it can be germinated. So that seed viability is 1000 years for this lotus seeds. But say for example, if orchids, if we will take orchids, their seed viability is very less. It may be some days only. So within that days it should be germinate. Otherwise that seed will be not germinate. So even after the, say for example, if the seed viability for orchids is 10 days, within that 10 days it should be germinate. Otherwise after the 10 days this seed cannot be germinate. Their seed viability will be 10 days only. But lotus seed, if we will the lotus seed, so then this seed viability is the 1000 years. So 1000 years, even after that also it can be germinate. So this is called seed viability. So how much time it will be the functional. So that is called seed viability. And another one is seed dormancy. Seed dormancy. This is the inactive state of an embryo or seed. That is called dormancy. So that means in unfavorable conditions, the seed undergo inactive state. When the favorable conditions occur, then the seed starts to germinate. So this state of inactive, so when the seed undergo the inactive state, that is called, that condition is called dormancy. So the inactive state. So it is very important to remember seed viability and seed dormancy. Inactive state of an embryo or seed. Inactive state of an embryo or state is known as seed dormancy. And so when the seeds are produced artificially or genetically, if that, so these all aspects have to be remembered. So what is the seed viability? So how many days or how many years it can be functional, or how much time it undergoes the inactive state, what are the favorable conditions to germinate the seed. So these are aspects to remember that once the seed is germinated to produce the plants. And another important topic in this chapter is Parthenocarpy. Parthenocarpy. So what is parthenocarpy? Here, before going to the just parthenogenesis will be discussed. So because, so 1 minute please. So parthenogenesis, Parthenos means virgin. Parthenos virgin. Genesis, formation. So here two different things we have to be discussed. Parthenogenesis is the offspring which are produced without fertilization. So without gamete fertilization. So fusion of gametes is not taking place, but the offspring is produced. Such method is called parthenogenesis. But here in the flowering plants, so this parthenogenesis is called parthenocarpy. So in plants, it is known as parthenocarpy. Parthenocarpy. Parthenos means virgin. So this is a Greek word. So it is a Greek word. Parthenos means virgin. Parthenos is a virgin. And carpus means fruit. Carpus is a fruit, which means, see, it is parthenocarpy is a word which is derived from the Greek word, two Greek words, which means parthenos means virgin, carpus means fruit. So here the fruits are developed from the without fertilization. So parthenocarpic fruits. Parthenocarpic fruits are developed without fertilization. Without fertilization. So it is very clear, the fruits are developed without fertilization of the gametes. So that fruits are called parthenocarpic fruits. So here in the normal sexual reproduction, the normal fruits are developed from the fertilization. So if the fertilization takes place, male gamete and egg cell are fused with each other, then the zygote is formed, and from that ovary is developed into the fruit. So that is the in normal sexual reproduction. And here this parthenocarpy is a mode of asexual reproduction, because asexual reproduction involves without fusion of gametes. So here also fruits are formed without fusion of gametes. But why we are talking it is in the sexual reproduction means for the formation of this fruit, it uses the sexual parts of the flower. So sexual parts of the flower, that means pistil. So that's why it is under the sexual reproduction. We are discussing under the sexual reproduction, but it is a mode of asexual reproduction. So on the basis of the fusion of gametes, we can say it is a mode of asexual reproduction. But why we are discussing here it is, here formation of fruit involves by using the sexual parts of the flower. So that is the other than egg cell. So there are different cells are present in embryo sac. So out of this, the synergids are there, and only one is egg cell. If the embryo is formed from the excel, that is the true fruits. So if the antipodals, if the fruit is developed from the antipodals or from the synergids or from the nucellus, so such a type of fruits are called parthenocarpic fruits. So here fusion of gametes do not take place. So parthenocarpic is a formation or developing of fruits without fertilization. So example for this is banana. These are the naturally parthenocarpic fruits, naturally. And apple, pineapple. So these are naturally parthenocarpic fruits. And there are artificial, the scientists are working to develop such fruits. So these are known as the seedless fruits because here the seeds are not developed. So these are other than the egg cell, so other than ovule, these fruits are formed, that means without seeds, and these are also known as seedless fruits because seeds do not form. So here by using this process parthenocarpy, the scientists are working to develop so many seedless fruits. So we know that how the parthenocarpy develop, but the knowledge is required where it should be applied. So for which fruits it is possible to produce the parthenocarpic fruits. So because, say for example, if you will take the custard apple, so custard apple, it contains, a single fruit contains the so many big black seeds. So around that black seeds the white pulp is present. So every seed contains that pulp it's around. And if we develop that custard apple by the process of parthenocarpy, so easily it contains only pulp, only white part, so there will be no seeds. So we can easily take that and we can open it and we can eat easily. So by taking a spoon or anything like that, so we can easily edible that. And say for example pomegranate, if you want to develop pomegranate by this process, so we know that in the pomegranate the seed is the edible part. Seed is the edible part, not pulp. So here if we develop this pomegranate by parthenocarpy, so that means pomegranate will be the seedless fruit. So without that seed, so what we have to be eat? Because in the pomegranate, seed is the edible part. So if we produce parthenocarpic pomegranate, it will be just like a tennis ball. So when we cut and when we open that, so it will be the empty. So without seeds. So then what should we eat? So when we develop parthenocarpic pomegranate. So that knowledge should be required where it should be applied, this process or this method of the developing fruits. So it is not possible in the fruits where the seeds are the edible parts. So without that, if the pulp or any other plant, any other part of the fruit, if it is edible, then okay, we can germinate, we can develop the parthenocarpic fruit. So it is very useful in fruits like custard apple, and it is not useful for the fruits like pomegranate where the seeds are the edible parts. And here another process is called like apomixis. Apomixis. Apomixis is the process by which the seeds are developed without fertilization. So here the seeds are developed without fertilization. Parthenocarpy is the without fertilization. So here very small difference here it is. Apomixis is the developing of seeds without fertilization. So it's a very clear that by the process of apomixis, the seeds are developed without fertilization. And parthenocarpy is the developing of fruits without fertilization. So it's a small difference. And the organisms which develop seeds without fertilization are called apomix. Apomix. So apomix are the organisms which develops the seeds without fertilization. So apomix are the organisms that develop seeds without fertilization. So in the normal developing seeds, so the seed development includes the two processes. So one is meiosis in the normal way. So that means due to the sexual reproduction. One is meiosis, meiotic division of the cells, and fertilization. So that means one is the gamete formation, then fertilization. These two are involved in the normal developing seeds with fertilization. So this process is known as amphimixis. Amphimixis. So amphimixis is the developing process of developing of seeds with the fertilization. But apomixis, apo means absent here. Mixis, meiosis. So meiosis means the formation of gametes. So apomixis is the process by which the seeds are developed without fertilization. So these two, when we see the similarities and dissimilarities between these apomixis and parthenogenesis, so we can easily understand what are the processes. So here first we will see the similarities. Similarities between the apomixis and parthenocarpy. Both are the mode of asexual reproduction. So both are the similarities here. Both are the mode of asexual reproduction or vegetative propagation. And another similarity is both are the process of the without fertilization. They produce the offspring without fertilization. So here the fertilization process is not taking place. Without fertilization. And dissimilarities, if you will see the dissimilarities, that means what are the differences between apomixis and parthenocarpy. So the first dissimilarity is apomixis is the formation of the seeds. Formation of seeds without fertilization. Then parthenocarpy. Parthenocarpy is the formation of fruits. Formation of fruits without fertilization. This is one dissimilarity. Apomixis is the process of formation of seeds. Parthenocarpy is the formation of the fruits without fertilization. So these are the one dissimilarity. Another dissimilarity is apomixis is in the result of the formation of mother cells. So due to the apomixis, mother cells are developed. So like seeds are the mother cells by which the plant is produced, and parthenocarpy is the production of offspring. It is the final result, that is the fruit. So that is offspring. So apomixis produces the mother cells and parthenocarpy produces offspring. So this is one more similarity. Dissimilarity. So similarity is the both are mode of asexual reproduction and these are without fertilization. Both processes are involved without fertilization. And one more similarity is here. Both, even if it is the asexual reproduction mode, but they uses the sexual parts. Both are uses sexual parts of a flower. Sexual parts of flower. So like ovule. So in the ovule like synergids or antipodals or even nucellus and ovary. So this is the two important aspects. One is apomixis and parthenocarpy. And apomixis is seen in gymnosperm and angiosperms. Gymnosperms and angiosperms. But most common in gymnosperms. And parthenocarpy is seen in plants and animals. Plants and animals. But difference is here, if this process, if the formation of fruits without fertilization in plants, it is called parthenocarpy. In animals, it is known as parthenogenesis. So, in plants it is called parthenocarpy, in animals it is known as parthenogenesis. So, these two are the important aspects which we have to be remembered. So, and one small topic in this is polyembryony. Polyembryony. So, poly means many. Embryos, the presence of more than one embryo. More than one embryos is known as polyembryony. It is common in so many angiospermic plants. So this is due to the presence of more than one embryo, and there are so many reasons for this polyembryony. So polyembryony is a very simple. It is the process in which the presence of more than one embryo, more than one embryos in the ovule. So that is called the polyembryony. The conditions, how the polyembryony is present. So there are different. Mainly there are two types of polyembryony. One is true, another one is false. True polyembryony, false polyembryony. So true polyembryony is the presence of embryos, or it is due to the presence of more than one embryo sac. More than one embryo sac in a single ovule. In a single ovule. So for example, if the single ovule contains more than one embryo sac. Each embryo sac is contain one egg cell. So that egg cell is develops into the embryo. So that is one condition which is known as true polyembryony. And another one is the false polyembryony. It is the presence of more than one embryo sac. More than one embryo sacs in the other than embryo sac, other than ovule, even that means entire pistil. So in the pistil, if it contains not a single ovule, if there are more than one embryo sacs in the ovaries, so other than this, so then that condition is called false embryony. False polyembryony. So here, these embryo sacs it may be present. It may be these embryos may be developed from the egg cell, or maybe other types of the parts of the ovule, other parts of the ovule. So such polyembryony is known as false polyembryony. So by this, the chapter sexual reproduction in flowering plants is completed. In the next session, we will go through the human reproduction, the next chapter.